Howdy.
Whoops. Get your mirror how you want it. It's got a nice wide angle lens though.
Cool. Thank you, sir.
Okay, have fun, be safe.
Thank you.
So let's chat
Don't
for a
hit
sec.
that number 95.
I won't say much. Just recap yesterday. I think you got the line. Just feel that line a little more. Nice and slow hands. Work at that nice brake pressure. You know,
Right.
I loved how you started picking that up in the afternoon. You know, do what you got to do on your hard braking, but you know, see what you can even try to work the brake pedal a little bit on the harder brake zones. But I really like what you're doing in 3. You know, that NASCAR bend. Nice gentle brake.
Right.
Gentle brake going through that hot pin
Yeah,
section.
I thought about that place
Get
the
that
most.
car, you know, get that car positioned so that you can just squeeze the brake a little bit. Get, you know, nice attitude of the car, feel it out, and then, you know, if you're rocking and rolling, I'm, you know, let you go solo this afternoon.
Cool. No, yeah, like I said, I wouldn't mind doing it, but if you don't think I'm ready, then
No, I think you're ready. I think you got good situational awareness. I wanted you to go this morning, but I figured I'll try to shut up. It's kind of hard for me.
No worries.
if I'm having fun, I might say some stuff. Like, woo!
No, speak at will, please.
Well, I want you to kind of feel it yourself. Go ahead, you pull it up. You can pull it. Right?
Nice and easy.
Slowly in, straighten that wheel right over that second curve.
And try not to touch the last curb. Just kind of hug the seam.
Yeah, there's a seam there. If you ride up a little bit on the curb, it's fine, but
don't get on the bumps of the curb.
Yeah. You know, just when you're waiting a little bit for that one, go ahead and turn it. I mean, you're surprised. You can really turn it.
So instead of starting mid-track for 10, you want to get over.
Yeah, you see what was happening because you were coming in early and having to take that curbing. It's pushing you so far track left, and then you were trying to get a backtrack right, and then you go into the brake and really wanting the car to go that way. The hands were this way, and then we got a little unsettled.
Yeah.
So try and before we get to 10, that last right-hand curve, and just wait just a touch longer, and then go ahead, don't be afraid to add some steering, even though you got a good bit of speed there. You know, don't jerk it.
Yeah, just add.
Nice and slow, and keep adding it in, and it'll go right around that curbing instead of having to take it early.
Right.
You were going early because you weren't just turning in a little early and not really turning enough, if you will. So just a touch later, squeeze it in. When you get that, you're pretty close to perfect already.
Yeah, I like it. This is the first time that I've been in a. This is the fastest blue group I've ever been in. The last time that I did blue, I was just going around everybody. There was not a single person that was. But there was, you know, some good driving going on yesterday.
There is some good driving, for sure.
Second and final call for the blue.
Yeah, it was I hate to say it, but it was a little boring the last time I did blue because, like I said, there was just no challenge, nobody to follow. I was just kind of going around everybody. I'm not bragging or anything. I'm just speaking factually.
It wasn't boring yesterday. Does it bother you that way?
No.
Because that way I don't bounce it in front of you. I had fun yesterday with you. I thought we were flipping it good.
Good deal.
So one last thing when we enter those S's, just you know, don't bum rush it all the way to that access road.
Don't need it.
Well, because I don't want you to feel like you got to touch the brake. You know, carry enough speed to where you definitely want to bleed off. So as I'm going in there, I'm coming up to that access road. I'm full. As I'm coming up to it, I'll start the bleed off of it so that I can start to turn in.
So you don't breathe the brake.
I do not touch the brake there.
Gotcha.
I mean, do what you're comfortable with.
Right.
But I think you should be modulating. Again, I don't want to really upset the chassis too much. So even when I'm breathing, I just want a little forward lean on the chassis so that I can get that initial turn in.
Right.
So then once we're into that left, there's compression.
Right.
So you can actually, you don't have to smash the throttle, but you can progressively add the throttle. You know, wait a little bit.
Right.
And then open the hands, steady throttle through there. You feel you got to touch the brake. It's just a little too
much.
jarring,
Yeah.
You can get a real nice rhythm through there with just a little breathe. Don't be afraid to add that steering, both at the top and then on the left end. Add some
more
slowly,
angle.
but a good bit of steering to get that attitude like we talked about.
Right.
Stay like this in the car that way as we press that hill.
But no jerking, just adding.
Yeah, just add it, but just keep adding.
What's that?
I said you changed yesterday. Dramatically, I thought.
Yeah, it's gonna get a little bit on the humid side. Alright, let's pick up the pace. Good?
A little bit, just a touch. enough to drift it. That's the way you like it.
Just don't come off that. So no, I promise. We're early again.
That could end up being a very big mistake. You gotta watch it. That's why I'm kind of waiting in a second. It's heavy.
Yeah. Overbroken.
Yeah, look at that. It's okay. Still trying to stay in the middle of the plate.
Think he's dropping oil?
I don't know.
Yeah, I see some. I think I see something coming off. I don't want to ride where he's going. See it? It's definitely leaking something.
felt the rear of the car get upset. That's supposed to be the wheel like this.
Right.
Just even if you're out of position, open it. And once you come across the hill, boom. Correct. Much easier to correct on a dot turn than it is when the rear end wobbles and you're way out of position.
Yeah, that was a gut check.
Yeah, good for that.
Doesn't seem to be shaking as violently today.
Oh, no, it's shaking.
Alright. The shake's coming out of gear. I got some work to do on Monday.
We never did a lot of formalities, flags, and are you up to speed on all the flags?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Just do me a favor, when we go out, I'm going to stick around and watch you go.
I'm going to dial it back. I'm not, yeah.
The balance is going to feel off because of me out of the car, especially through the S's. So
right.
when you hit a bobble like that, with me out the counterbalancing with my weight, it's going to feel even more violent.
Right.
It'll actually cost you more.
So give it 2 or 3 laps before you really figure
just
things out.
feel it out. Try to work on getting that like you were getting it in hog pen. You're really doing that well now. You're able to apply that little bit of brake before the downhill because you got the car on